Damn, what happened to Charmander? Motherfucker didn't show up for the job today?
He had PTO he needed to use.
We have PTO? I didn't know.
You used all of it the first month of this season.
Yes.
What a guy.
What a dude. But why are you stroking your mic?
I'm just making sure.
Hold on. I know what our subjects we're talking about today, but I'm going to go on a rant about one of them, so do the intro while I Google.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Totally Oblivious podcast. I'm your host, Caleb, the spooky, I'm the horror protagonist, here with co-host Alex, the cat.
I like cats.
It's the end of spooky month. Shocking, I know. What happened to October? Couldn't tell you. I don't even remember September, to be honest.
I don't even...
If you asked me what episodes of the podcast came out in September, I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you either. I know what we did in October.
We did, I can tell you October. Oh, I definitely can't tell you. Oh, September was the school trilogy. That's right. I only had to remember one topic and I somehow forgot. That's bad. That's why Silent Hill would take my brain. I wouldn't do good there. Bless you.
Oh, I think you got. Oh, that was so sexy. I think you got I think if you zoomed in, I think you saw like a snot come out.
You got a sneeze take.
Oh, sneeze take. Is this the one I made?
Well, while you're looking, I just gotta say real quick, there's too many games out right now.
I dropped Sparking Zero for Space Marine 2.
You went back to Space Marine?
I can't get enough of. I was this close this afternoon. This close to buying like a print of official art for $50.
Real.
But I think it's this size. I think it's like $80. Like it's like high quality shit. I'm like,
that's not bad.
I'm like, yeah, but like, do I buy that or do I buy the miniatures and all the painting stuff?
Oh, like, no, you're going down this rabbit hole.
Oh, no, I'm gone, bro. I woke up like yesterday thinking about the lore. I woke up and I started listening to those podcasts and I went, damn, I feel bad for Sanguinius. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm cooked. This is how it started with JoJo's. I'm bucked. I am down the hill, bro.
Dude, see, I've been trading off Sparking Zero and Silent Hill remake throughout the week, just playing either one whenever I find the opportunity. And now Sonic Generations came out.
I heard people you know what? I saw people saying Sonic Generation better than Sparking Zero, and I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. They might be right.
Those Sonic that like Generations, the original was good. So this one's just that, but more. So
is this the third time they've done this with that game? I can't believe there's side.
I don't know if you really count the 3DS one though. Like it was different, but it was just a 3DS version of the game.
Do we count the Smash Bros for 3D as like a
Sakurai does? So I guess however the devs see Sonic Generations 3DS, then I guess that determines what the game.
Did you see there was an interview where it's all like, yeah, there's like outstanding success with this game. We don't know what to do now.
I think I remember hearing about it. I didn't see it, but I remember hearing it. Yeah. Because that definitely reflects. Wait, with this new one or when they first made Generations?
This new one.
This new one. I'm guessing they're just gonna go with remakes for a bit.
Hey, it worked. If it worked for Capcom and Resident Evil, Halo looks like it's going down the same path.
Might as well do it with Sonic, because if you remake Sonic Adventure, you literally have like the best game ever, and then you can follow up with remaking Sonic Adventure 2, which will make you millions of dollars.
And then you could just make a storyline from there with just that universe, and then you don't have to do anything else.
Pretty much,
you can just adapt the comics easy. You can just like recycle shit.
Just remake all the ones that everyone liked. And then you can just rewrite history. Be like, those other ones.
Which we'll be talking about if it's in theme with this.
Oh. But yeah, I still like Sparking Zero, but
it's good. But don't get me wrong.
Much.
It's good, but like I got like 40 or 50 hours into it, and I just kind of had like a mental realization looking at Twitter and then looking back at the game and going, Like, it looked cool, but damn, there's nothing to do here.
It's because we can't fight each other.
That too, but like even then, I still play with friends, and it at one point the game is very speedrunner-esque, where at one point at those higher levels, it's just the constant same game. It's following the same path, even though you might be playing Broly or Z Goku or another character. It's literally just whoever doesn't time the teleport right is going to be comboed. And that's much, the entire end game of it all. People say in like the ranked, which is where most people are at, it's just like, yeah, at one point it's just the same game. It doesn't matter who you pick. It's always repetitive. Unless you have a team of 5, which is the strategy's a bit different, but then it's just like
The thing is with that though, once you get to higher levels with any game, it does immediately become unfun.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But even then I looked at the story mode and stuff and I'm all like, yeah. Like, it's cool, but like I'm like, for the most part, it's just all like, at least right now they haven't patched it yet as of the recording of this, and it's just all like the NPCs are still hard as fuck. Nothing's changed.
I don't think they should make them easier. I don't think so.
I'd be fine with that, but it's just like at one point it's just like there's, and this is gonna be the hardest diss I could give to this game. It feels like Raging Blast 2, with like it's. Pick a character and just go through challenges. That's what it kind of feels like, except now there's dialogue here, and I'm all like, like I'll play this. If somebody says hop on and play Sparking Zero, I'll play Sparking Zero. But it's not like me with like Xenoverse or Xenoverse 2 where I'm on that shit constantly.
Xenoverse was different though because that was just like you had constant online challenges to do. Yeah. Plus you were building up one character to be strong.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like there's no active progression. I guess maybe that's my thing. It just kind of feels, here's these little things, do them. That's it.
It's still fun.
Yeah, like the gameplay is fun, but like past that, there's not a lot of replayability because with Space Marine, I can play the same 7 missions and I'm still having fun.
See, and I feel the opposite. I started getting bored.
No, bro. I think the thing is with that game is you have to try everything because I've maxed out 3 classes and I still got 3 more to go. And I'm like, it's different every time.
See, but one thing for sure, though. Helldivers Liberty Day is on Saturday. Well, it'll be past by the time this episode comes out, but it's on Saturday.
What's Liberty Day? What's happening?
I don't know. There has to be an event, though. I feel like we got to hop back on Helldivers for that day.
I'd be down. I have to re-download it, but I'd be down.
But I think we got to do it. I think we got to do it for liberty.
Liberty.
Love that game.
That's why
too many games. There's too much to play.
It is a stacked season this year.
It really is.
So, and then Dragon Ball 2, shit. New Dragon Ball episode Friday. Episode 3, baby.
I'm still waiting for English dub.
I thought they were doing simulcast. They'll probably be like, I think after this episode, they'll probably end up they'll end up releasing stuff. I think. I think it starts sometime in November. That's what they did with Bleach. I think
they were like a few episodes.
Yeah, they were like 5 episodes behind or something. Okay, gonna be real though. It's slow as fuck. There's still, it might be 20 episodes, but what I'm fearing is that the first like 8 are just gonna be all preamble, and the rest is all gonna be like high action.
Yeah.
So you're not missing out on much.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. But overall, that was like a solid like 7.
It's fun.
Yeah,
looks like the animation's pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's definitely enjoyable. Anyways, though, it's Spoopy month.
Anyway,
and this is the last episode. We were interrupted last week because Nintendo decided to implode, and we needed to convict Typhlosion. He's probably a pedo.
Yeah, he's a predator for sure.
Yeah. Well, he is a bagger.
Well, that one definitely was.
Yes.
Because we're not racist.
Approved. So
anyway, what do you got for me?
What are we doing exactly?
I don't know.
We want to do so. We're just gonna be yapping. There wasn't a lot of research done because we're both strict on time. But I have basic ideas.
I was under the assumption that Alex was doing all the research for this month.
No, I was busy and people kept on tagging me along in things that I did not willingly choose, but I just did. To be kind of lazy, to be honest. But that's besides the point. But I did send you some stuff earlier. I always pick from Wendigoon's iceberg chart because it's easy and concise. But the idea of lost history is neat. And history in general, lost civilizations are constantly being talked about. I guess you know a few off the top of your head because you're a little bit of a history guy, right? Or no?
For lost civilizations?
Yeah, just in general. Just like how things just disappear. It's
that does happen.
It's like,
even in modern history.
Yeah, it's like, wow. Lost media being one. A little bit on the smaller scale. Nosferatu, just the original, just not...
Doesn't
exist anymore. It's just clips.
Gone.
It's gone. That movie looks pretty good, though.
That's actually crazy to think about, that whole film gone.
Most of Doctor Who, from the first and third Doctor's eras, were lost in a fire. So you can't watch it.
Really?
Yeah. It happened in the 50s, I think.
Dang.
Yeah. So like most of Doctor Who's early history is gone. Some of it was salvaged because a lot of people had recordings of it. So the original tapes are gone for the most part.
I guess the creation of being able to own media in your own home really saved a lot of
things. Which kind of gets you thinking, right? It's just like, wow. Once the masses have the ability to gather information, it basically stays forever. Yeah. That wasn't the case for a very long time, which brings us to the bigger idea here with Phantom Time is, remember how Jesus, like everybody's just started using Jesus's birthday, roughly, by the way, as like year zero kind of ish in the Western world? Well, fun fact. We don't know exactly when he was born. It's not in December.
Rough estimate.
It's not in December. It was probably in the spring.
It was actually in the spring.
Yeah, and we completely missed the mark on that. I have no idea why we did that.
That's just a misinterpretation because the
telling any Christian that is hilarious.
Christmas is the day that the kings got there after traveling for a long time. Mm-hmm. To give him his gifts, which is why it became Christmas. But he was born in like April.
But it's funny because we'd be celebrating his death and birth in the same month.
Pretty much, yeah. Which makes me wonder, was he really killed in the spring? Is that confirmed?
The Bible might give us a lot of things. It doesn't give us dates.
They don't give us dates.
Apparently, citing sources or ending... You know how journalists will just be like, January 4th, 1459, I got a waxing hand job from my handmaid. Like, they'll say some shit like that. Not in the Bible. Nobody does that.
Not a single prophet thought it would be important to be like, you know what? We should probably write down the dates that this happened to give people a more accurate...
for I think Islam. I think they give dates, but that's only backed up with historical evidence because it's all like
the newer stuff.
It's just all like, I'm going to war the next day, and then the next day, 10,000 Muslims fought the Assyrians or some shit like that. So it's just like, we have the dates on when this was happened. Not in Christianity, though. It's out the ass.
Crazy. Not a single prophet thought that was important.
Yes. So what this theory basically is, now this is a rough estimation of it. I know there's probably one you can find on YouTube with a lot more oomph to it, but we can go into it because I think it's just fascinating, is that like some people believe that some people in the churches may or may not have made a couple oofsies.
Oh, they definitely did.
A bunch of oofsies with our dates. So there's a theory that...
But was it intentional?
Probably. There's like 300 or 800, I think it's been between that, 800 years of just human history. Just like, yeah, we had to fast forward the clock. We might have messed up on that.
Made an oopsie here.
Might have made an oopsie. So... On the surface level, it's technically really not bad just to move your clock forward, but then it just scrambles a whole bunch of like dates from the past in theory. Now, it's only a theory because a lot of people can't like back it up with a major amount of evidence. The church did that. This is the Catholic Church? Yes, Catholic Church. I'm trying to remember. I think it was around the years of Charlemagne. This is all off the top of my head. This is just for funnies. The other conspiracies we have are a bit better, but that's more or less the idea. But it really doesn't cause any harm. But what it ends up doing is, I love when we do conspiracy theory combos. So the church messes up, hypothetically, right? They mess up. They go, oof. We might have done some miscalculations off of somebody's birthday we don't exactly know the date of.
Plus, I think that does make sense because that aligns with like the fall of the Roman Empire in the Dark Ages. That literally nobody had, like, they went back several hundred years.
Yeah.
So just during that time, nobody kept record of anything.
Yes, that also plays in a fact to it too. I've seen some theories like that. Note on the Dark Ages though, it's a bit funny, and a lot of historians don't like that term. It's just there wasn't really a lot of progression because it's just all like, well, our major infrastructure just collapsed. We can't
time
can't
to
really
do
anything.
nothing.
Yeah, so that's why they call it. It's just a major point of stagnation, and then just kind of like, or at least with the majority of the Dark Ages, like the spread of Christianity like to a lot more places, and then we start to see like variations in terms of interpretations and such.
Because that was kind of like the one pillar of like society was religion at that point.
Yeah, basically everything else was just kind of like halted, and then due to religious dogma and doctrine, you couldn't really proceed forward with a lot of things at that point till the Renaissance, and then at the Renaissance is where we see like a lot of clash of this is shockingly, if you want to say this, the Renaissance is the birth of science, because that's when you start seeing the clash between those two ideas of like supernatural mysticism and versus the fire. The fire is a chemical, the chemical reaction.
Someone out there just heard that, and we just saved their test.
Yeah,
they were about to take a test.
Fun fact about fire.
And they heard that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, fun fact about fire. I didn't know this is up until probably this year. Fire is actually an explosion. However, it's an extremely slow explosion. So what you're actually watching is an explosion happening in super slow motion. Fun fact, I thought that was neat.
That is neat.
So yeah, but going off of that theory, like the church messes up their dates, they just have to like tell all the peasants that don't know how to read and write that they're right, and be like, the year is actually, I don't know, it's like 700 or something. It's like, oopsies. Anyway,
they're basically
don't question it.
They're basically the parent when the kid asks, "Why can't we do this?" Because I said so.
Yeah, you would. I remember there's a point in Catholicism where it says like, "You didn't show up to church on Sunday." Evil. Die. No, you can fact check. I don't know.
No, that's actually true. I know that's true.
Yeah, they would kill you. So the idea that they accidentally mess up their dates and they have to fast forward isn't entirely wrong. Yeah. Which it doesn't really like, oh no, 800 years are gone or whatever the exact year amount is. I should be checking myself, but I'm just going off the top of my head because it's a podcast. Who knows? It's fun.
And at that point, those 800 years, probably not that important.
No, probably not. Or, it's
if
not.
If there were, some sort of record would have been made of that.
Yeah, or somebody would have wrote down something. But of course, with that kind of logic, it's like, did it actually technically happen? Probably not. However, though, there has been points in human history that dates and information are just gone because the entire population hated a motherfucker that bad, they nearly deleted him. Which brings me into my other point of Pharaoh. I can never pronounce his name correctly because I always get it. Akhenaten. There it is.
Akhenaten.
Yes. Akhenaten was a very interesting case where in human history where he eventually became the Pharaoh. And within Egypt, for at least within the later half of Egypt's history, is that like they were perceived as gods. The emperor, or not the emperor, the pharaoh was God. But in this specific case, he was really God, and all the other gods sucked. So they basically, in his early years of becoming pharaoh, wiped out all the other Egyptian gods and basically made the sun god, which even before then with the pharaohs was ultimately related to, the only god. And Egypt hated this. This was, if you control a population, this is the one way you don't do this. You don't I have to give it to the Catholics. They at least know how to like control people. Are we grabbing an orange? Oh my God.
He showed up to work.
He did.
Ruins
the Wi-Fi connection because of Charmander's ass.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so Catholicism has it down. If they do change it, it's in very small amounts. They build over centuries. And in this case with Akhenaten, he completely ruined it in like I think a span of like 30 years, 20 or 30 years. And then everybody hated him, and then he was killed. We don't know how he
Real.
died. They just like that. And the only reason why I'm able to tell you this story is archaeologists have found very, very small detail of his life and of his record of just him being there, him being related to a monotheistic sun god, and then that's it. And maybe his kids, and then like the line down where eventually it normalizes. But like, yeah, when people really hate you, they will delete you from history.
It will delete you from existence.
And
the biggest, he slipped and fell on multiple rocks.
yeah. So when I think about history like that and the conspiracy theory of phantom time, it's not entirely inaccurate. And by the way, not all countries have the same metric, time metric. North Korea, for example, I think is like in the year. I'm gonna have to Google this. Hold on, because they're not in the year 2000. Neither is China, but they also have like they go like this is China's year, but globally,
the year started when Kim Jong Un was born.
No, I think it was Kim Jong Il. Hold on, North Korean year right now. I think it's like no. What's North? Yeah. So the year, I think the year is, yeah. So the year in Korea is 112.
Wow.
So yeah, so they mark it with the birth of their first dictator. So yeah. So
They said no other history before that matters. Time didn't exist until you existed.
Perfect right here. Phantom theory. The Catholic Church, North Korea erased like roughly
That's crazy.
5,000 years roughly
Of their own history.
of like Asia gone. It's only been 100 years.
That's just insane because then their greatest enemy, us, the United States, has somehow existed prior to time itself. Somehow we've existed longer than time itself. Are we just eldritch gods to them?
I have the power of the internet. I show a North Korean kid anime, it's game over, bro. Show him P-Hub. Look at this shit.
I show a North Korean kid David Blaine and his mind is blown.
Do you think I could go to North Korea and convince a small family of Koreans that I'm a god?
You're like, I am the eldritch god.
This is the problem with this. This is why Phantom Time is funny.
I'm the eldritch god sent to destroy your leader.
I am the devil.
I am the devil.
I am an American.
But no, that's crazy because that's actually historically what like colonizers did to the native people, pretty much. Yeah. Like, we're your gods. Obey us.
It happens every
Give us
single
your
time.
women.
And everything
Those horny
you own.
colonizers.
Damn, my ancestors were a bunch of rapists and bastards.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I think.
It could have been the other soldiers. Who knows? Maybe I had the one that was just like, okay, that's a little bit too far. I'm not going to fault them all like all the Typhlosions. But like, yeah, more or less, that's how like phantom time theory kind of goes down. I know there's other rabbit holes that go other places, but to be honest, they're a little bit too schizo for me. So they're kind of dumb because, you know, of course, I like to critique a lot of these conspiracy theories. But in the case of this one, it's kind of true. It happens a lot of time. Either people in power or the peasantry will just delete somebody from existence. So the idea that, you know, Catholicism or other branches of Christianity go,
oopsie,
we have to, you know, do some things is not entirely inaccurate. And plus, to be honest, the idea of human time is a human-made concept. Mm-hmm. So like, oh no, 2,000 years isn't really like crazy to delete or something. Because look at Kim Jong Un. It's just like it's gone.
He did it so easily.
Yeah, or Kim Jong Il. Was it Il? Hold on, let me.
It was probably Il.
Was it Il?
His father.
No, Kim Jong. Is it the birth of the year?
Or grandson?
Yeah, it was Sung. I think it was Sung. Il was his dad.
Anyway,
so yeah.
One thing I gotta say towards that, I think that is literally like the textbook definition version of a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
it's theoretical that somebody conspired.
Yeah.
And maybe oopsie poopsie some history.
Yeah, it happens.
Literally perfect. That was beautiful.
Even then with AD, BC, and what's the other one? It's BTC? What's the third one? Anyway, the anagrams behind those numbers you see all the time are kind of made up. And there's not an exact origin of why they're there, because sometimes it means after death or before Common Era, after Common Era, and it's like, what the hell's a Common Era? So there's like there's a lot of interpretation of why people use that, and even in I think recent history, people have dropped AD, and I think have now been using like after Common Era.
Yeah, so, I think that was a recent. That was definitely something before I think even we were in school.
Yeah.
Because I remember that being first brought up in 6th grade history class. And I think that was just specifically them trying to take it away from Christianity. Like that sort of ideology, because that's where that was based around.
I have to think, Caleb and Post, you have to fact check me. I'm not going to use my phone. It's funny just to make Caleb and Post do work. But like, I don't even think AD stands for after death. I think it actually means something else. I think it's like...
We can look at... I'm going to look at right now.
I think it's shortened for something else in Latin. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. So like, overall, the phantom time theory is not entirely a wrong theory. It happens in history. People delete history. Now, what happens during that history, that's where we get interesting with it. Now, that's where you can get pretty crazy with it.
It stands for Anno Domini.
That might have... okay, now we got to translate that. I think that might mean after death.
What does Anno?
Domini. Domini. I don't think Domini, actually.
In the year of the Lord.
Oh, there we go. Because I knew it didn't mean death. Domini is not the... I shockingly know a little bit of Latin for some reason.
I guess that makes sense if it would be...
but even then,
if year 0 and everything after would be the year of the Lord being after Christ was born.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But even then,
but that's not what they go with anymore.
No, because it's like, it's kind of funky with that. But yeah, that's more or less how that works. I think you are right. It's a classic conspiracy theory.
Classic.
Because it technically is true, because there is multiple examples of it within the current period of time, the most ancient period of time, and during the time when science was just getting its like start.
Little baby science.
Yeah, so it's just like it's a pretty decent one. And me being the conspiracy theory guy and I looked through a whole bunch while I was editing today, and it's just like, do you want to talk about the soy one? The soy one though is funny.
Where's the soy one?
Okay, we'll do a little short one before we get into the Bank of Souls.
The good stuff.
Yeah, the Bank of Souls is a good one. I like that one. But the soy theory is that soy, the bean, when squeezed, it eventually makes soy milk, soy byproduct, basically. An ingredient is that in high doses, when soy affects the male body, will produce an excess of estrogen.
Oh, this one.
Yes. And so what happens is soy nowadays, this is how the conspiracy theory works, is in everything, right? It's, if you go to your pantry, you will find like, what's the corn syrup? What's the name for it that everybody hates?
High fructose.
That one. That one's bad. It's on the same level of that, if not worse in these people's eyes, which when males consume it at a high dosage, now produces a massive amount of female hormones that shouldn't be in the male body naturally. So a lot of people think that outside governments outside the U.S. are weaponizing capitalism in order to make the male population of the United States of America femboys. So to break it down, when you hear soy boy, comes from the root of the theory that governments outside the United States of America want to weaponize femboys. That is the theory.
That theory will always just be hilarious.
And I'm not going to be wrong. So this is where the funny part comes in. It might be true. Because in the early 2000s, even your brother would recognize this because this was during his era, there was so much fucking chemicals and things in food back in those days. There was a study that was done that some girls were aging rapidly because of these chemicals. So knowing my history with MK Ultra and how governments like to do their thing, weaponized femboys are not totally out of reach.
But you know what's more plausible than that?
Yes.
Weaponized incompetence. Because literally throughout history, you see they're like, ooh, we can put this in stuff to save money. 50 years later, that's why people are dying.
Yeah. Lead paint.
Lead paint. Ooh,
Popcorn ceilings.
Let's have these ladies be painting with these nice fluorescent paints, and they're gonna be designing stuff. It's cancerous, and now their bones are deteriorating.
My favorite one is that I always laugh at this one. This is a guilty pleasure conspiracy theory that the amount of lead paint that was found in homes is the reason why older generations of Americans are, I can't say the word, but that it's used in the R word, are dumb.
They're a little dumber than the rest. Yeah, no, actually, I do believe that one. Yeah. I do actually believe that one.
Yeah,
that explains so much. If that be true, that explains everything of what's wrong with society now.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that America was really strong until lead paint showed up. That's my conspiracy theory. Lead paint, just lead in general, completely destroyed the U.S. in mass, because I think around the same time lead paint was showing up is when mass single-family homes were showing up. I would love to have my girlfriend here.
Lead paint and asbestos. So literally the baby boomers grew up with two of the most toxic chemicals mainstay in their household.
Yes.
Along with all the radiation.
Uranium was there too.
There is so much radiation. Dude, the boomers are, no wonder why everything sucks. The boomers their brains are gone.
I would love to have like a medical exam of politicians compared to like people who are highly affected by that, like asbestos and lead. This is like a low tier ass conspiracy, but it's like one of the ones that genuinely makes sense.
It's like, that explains a lot.
No.
If this is true, which it's looking like it probably is, that explains everything.
I love that theory. I think every once in a while, I'll just be doing something and I think about that and I go, damn.
Like, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those people are inferior to me. Why do you think that? Because they don't got lead paint in their homes.
They don't got their lead
Really,
paint.
Grandpa? Can you do this simple math equation for me real quick?
Grandpa, tell me, how'd you do in school?
Yeah, were you made fun of?
Were you okay?
Yeah.
Grandpa?
Yeah, it's kind of suspicious.
No, yeah, no, I definitely believe that one.
That one's a fun one. I always like them. But do you want to go to the Bank of Souls, or do you have anything?
Yes.
So this is one that I like a little bit because it kind of answers a few questions spiritually for a lot of people. So the idea is within Jewish mysticism, which little bit of history, a little note here. Christian mysticisms and not Judas. That's a different guy. And Judaism and their mysticism is a bit different. There's a lot of funnies between them because it's all like, here's a massive concept integral with Judaism, not in Christianity, completely removed.
We made our own things.
Yes.
At some point in history, they split off and said, you know what? We had the same ideas for a while. Now we're just going to start making our new ideas.
Yeah. So the big one here. Now this is not the theory, but I like to always bring this one up after figuring it out. Jews don't believe in hell. You get put in timeout for at most, I think it's 6 months or 2 months.
I think I have heard that.
Yeah, they don't believe in hell. It doesn't exist. Hell, an eternal punishment, is a byproduct of Christianity. And fun fact, hell is really not that well described in the Bible. So, fun fact, going back to the 800 years that somehow disappeared, cultural leaders and people in positions of power will make shit the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even now, to a certain point, fan fictions, got to shout out to my boy, Dante's Inferno,
fan fiction,
that it completely ruins people's perceptions because they just think that because of the stereotype. There's not actually like 12 rings of hell. That's not the right number. And like purgatory and then stuff on top of that. Like, there's like 8 heavenly, is there 8 or is there 7? It doesn't matter. There's a whole bunch of stages. They don't exist in the Bible. It's that. I made it the fuck up. I made it the fuck up. I saw it in a dream, Batman.
Pretty much.
And that happens continuously. But in Judaism, that doesn't happen. So, when looking at that, separate the Christian from the stuff here. But in Judaism, there's the idea of the tree of life, which there is in Evangelion. If you've ever seen the circles connecting together, you know that imagery, right? Yeah, that's tree of life. So with it, there is this idea that constantly when a person's born, a new soul is replenished and put in. Shockingly, this is in Bleach. I'm shocked I'm making that connection now during this podcast, but that's how the Serite works if you've ever watched Bleach. And so when a new person's born, they've given a new soul and they live on Earth continuously. But with this tree since it's based in kind of real life, because that's how the Jews work, they saw their nearby surroundings and kind of put it into their folklore.
Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so what ends up happening with the tree is every so often, you'll get bad spots. You're not able to put the souls into the human flesh.
Apples.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is a person is born, but they got no soul. And within Judaism and Christianity, the soul kind of works as like this mediating factor of right from wrong. You have a little bit of God in you. That's how I can simplify it. But what happens when you get a person that doesn't have a soul in them? Well, you get problems. And more or less, to kind of break it down for funnies, is any person you have ever met who kind of just seems off,
who's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue. Kind of like, why do you think like that? There's other reasons you could explain things to the Bible, but in specific with this theory and within Judaism, it's just like, oh, you don't got a soul. You're just kind of weird.
He's an NPC.
So you're like, you're given this like knowledge check, this like moral check with these people. So what this basically comes down to is, in summary and TLDR, some people are born with souls. Some people aren't born with souls because the soul tree just has its off seasons. And what ends up happening is you get NPCs with a completely opposite view of you, or almost kind of deranged opinions that make logically no sense. And you just have to deal with them, which goes back into Judaism, because with their version of hell is if you kind of made mistakes in your life, you'll have to feel that regret in their version of hell. It's just kind of like sit there and think about what you did, and you're just extremely hardcore ultra depressed for like a very short period of time.
I think most religions other than like the Catholic branch of Christianity don't think of hell as being like lava pits burning you. Like it's just,
I don't know about that one.
I'm pretty sure from what I've heard from most religions, it's just you get put in timeout for a bit.
Yeah, don't do that with the East Asian religions. Those ones. Timeout isn't 6 months. You'll get out in 10 trillion years.
Yeah, what's that in spirit time?
That actually is a good question. No one ever thinks about that one. That one's a good one.
Who knows? It could feel like nothing.
No, 10 trillion. Yeah, I think it's, what is it? It's in one of the Vishnu scriptures where it's all like spending time within like those, the devilish realms or whatever. It's like one grain of sand that falls off a mountain, which then has to disintegrate. It's like this very long piece of text. It's just like, you're going to be there for a bit. And someone does the math. It's like, it's really long. But yeah, the Bank of Life is just kind of an explanation of why you see weirdos. So anytime you see somebody on Twitter with a blue check mark and they're kind of giving the most...
There might be an actual bot, though.
They might.
Let's be real. They could just be a real bot.
But on the case that they're not and they're actually somebody, they might not have a soul and are just a giant like moral check for you to like go past. Which...
Gotta say, though, just quick thing. There's a bit of a problem with this. Does give people superiority complex over other people.
Yes.
Main character syndrome, not good.
Which, technically going back into it, I can't believe this is just a religious episode now, which I said back in the first episode, the religious ones are like, ah. Well, that's doomsday ones, but just strictly religion ones. Looking back at how they prosecuted Jesus, a lot of Jews were very stuck up and very snobby.
It really be your own people.
It really do. It really do.
Insane.
And one of the biggest tenets back in the Old Testament times is God was the only one who was able to forgive. You have to look strictly from God. But then it's just like Jesus shows up. It's like, I forgive you all. You can talk to me constantly about your sins, which is, you can't do that. So it's just all like, it's like that kind of idea. So Caleb's not wrong. If you apply that and this theory back to ancient times, it's like, oh, that's why the Jews, nobody liked the Jews. They're just a bunch of dicks.
I'm sure a lot of people gain superiority complexes because you give anybody the idea that someone might be beneath you, they will take that running.
Miles.
They will take that miles.
You give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Pretty much.
And if you then,
so you got to be careful when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Don't fall into those traps.
You might be an NPC.
You might be an NPC.
But yeah, no, that one's a little bit of a fun theory. But,
yeah.
You know, there's a little bit of an interesting one. I kind of kept on watching that Wendigoon video, and I was reminded of God's ego death. You want to go down these rabbit holes?
God's ego death.
You want to go down this one? This one's a pretty interesting one. It kind of like gives you like a kind of an moment where you don't need to be like any like religious factor. It just kind of gives you it's a bit of a hopeful ending. Shockingly, at the end of that conspiracy theory iceberg that's 9 hours long, it's like everybody hates you, but God loves you, and it's awesome. So the idea here is, when you take hardcore drugs, absolutely, you're licking toads. You're licking poisonous toads to see fractals. Like, you ever see the math equation where somebody like puts down the math pattern and like it infinitely goes in on itself? It's that. That's when you see when you're high sometimes. And then elves, if you're Joe Rogan and other people. But the idea here is, during these super ultra hardcore drug trips, one can experience ego death where, depending on who you're asking, you talk to yourself or you see visions of yourself, and after the high, you go, damn. And that's not like, I say damn like that, but it's just like, damn. Like, you know the hard days of work, and then like you sit in your car and you just...
It really be like that.
Like, damn. Okay, think about that, but like 1,000-fold after the drug trip, and then you radically change your life. It's one of those experiences. So the idea stems in is, if we are made in the image of God, going off, this is more like kind of Christian, but then it kind of also doubles back on the Skyfather theory, which all major religions stem from like one grandiose religion that eventually split up massively. There's a whole bunch of evidence for it. I actually really like that one, but that's not the point right now. But it stems from that. So God exists and he made us. But why, Caleb? Why do you think God made us? If we're speaking religiously here.
If we're speaking religiously, he made us because well, if you want to get real technical into it, this is like an eternal cycle where we're just one of many different. Oh, you're going with the egg theory here. Ooh, I like this one. That God is just part of this other plan, that God is now creating us to then eventually become our own celestial beings, which then create our own universes to become gods. That's the egg theory. That's a good one. I like that one. That was good. That's in Logic album. That's supported by a lot of religious texts.
Yes, that one's a good one. So I guess this also kind of stems in. That's kind of weird that we made that connection. That's really weird. But the idea here is, the reason why God made people is because deep down, he was lonely. He just wanted somebody to be around. So in a way, being the ultimate being with no flaws, utterly being true omnipotent, anything else would have to be a step down. So in order to do that, the idea stems is he had to make something lesser of himself. And so that's what he did. And technically looking at it, like on a super big brain way of thinking of it, if you're a perfect being and you have to make something lesser of yourself, it is the ultimate ego death. So God's ego death is basically the most supreme ego death there ever could be, because you are the ultimate being. So you make people.
Yeah.
And then with those people, they just kind of exist, and you kind of you're just with them. But there's also alternate ideas with that one, where since the ego death happened and he kind of split himself up and everybody kind of exists just to exist in some lesser universe that's much more interesting than the perfect one, because if you really think about it, a perfect universe would be boring as hell, because it's just There's nothing here.
Zamasu, you idiot.
Exactly. That idea. So that's how God's ego death works. It's just it's a pretty neat theory, but then you can also tie it back with the egg theory where God's just kind of here just to make another celestial being, which those celestial beings can eventually make more, and like, you know,
a multiverse
of celestial beings, which then if you think about it, it would be like a really like big brain way of thinking about like how now a perfect being can meet with another perfect being and they can just do a podcast. So that's what God's ego death is. It's basically the ultimate idea within many worldly religions is that some god or higher entity just wanted change, and that's where we get. So it's a pretty cool one.
Interesting.
And then it kind of stems back into. Hold on. What is the actual conspiracy? Hold on. I gotta do some double checking here. But you can give your opinion right now.
I think I gave my piece pretty much.
Shush, my Warhammer podcast. Hold on.
Yeah, that's pretty checks out to me.
Yeah, God's ego death. It's an interesting conspiracy theory. I think I like those ones where it's just all like you remove all the weird stuff with all the religions, like you'll die. Rah. When you look at that one, it's just like, oh, I'm just kind of a small deity that was just made to just kind of be here.
Cool.
Like there is no real good or evil. It just kind of happens. It's just I don't know. It's like it's really reassuring in that kind of aspect. Hold on,
just a cozy little
existence. And then when you think about it in the grander, shut up, Wendigoon. Shut up. Hold on. Gotta fast forward real quick. Hold on. But yeah, I think I've always liked that one. Even as a kid, I really liked it because I always thought about it back then. It was just like, why does everybody gotta be mean? But then when you think about it, it's just like, oh, because it's lesser. It's just supposed to be like this. Oh, okay, that's what it's called. The final understanding. So this is kind of shut up. Where I love this. At the very end, it goes from God loving you to once you think about all conspiracy theories, at the end of the day, it's this kind of like you make conspiracy theories to feel included into something. But at the end of the day, man, it's just you. You're not missing out on anything.
The real conspiracy theory was the friends we made along the way.
You're joking, but that's the thing. At the end of the biggest conspiracy theory video on all of YouTube, the ending is just basically, man, you just vibe. Which, at the end of the day, looking at all worldly religions and everything in a grander scheme of all of it, the whole universe, maybe the multiverse, maybe the infinite existing dimensions, if we're looking at Tsar Wukong and the Journey of the West and how that works and Taoism, just vibe, man. You're not missing out on anything.
Pretty much.
You're doing exactly what you needed to do. And that's the greatest conspiracy theory of all. Just doing whatever. So right now, if you're listening to this podcast and you're making a sandwich, eat that sandwich. Be happy. You're doing good, man.
Wow.
So yeah.
And in true horror fashion, we just gave you a nice comfort, and now we're just going to go back into the horrors of conspiracy land. Yeah. You said you could quickly explain this, so we'll go through that. The Uncanny Valley.
Oh, I love this one. Okay, so taking spiritualism and God out of the equation, and we're just some random things that exploded onto the universe at random. Hold on, tangent. I love the conspiracy theory that we exist out of a cosmic joke, and we're just here to suffer. Ultimately, the universe accidentally made us up. Like they're going to that Neil deGrasse Tyson clip I sent you last night, where Neil's all like, "Yeah, the Earth can make molecules that just move because of electricity, but then when it thinks cognitively on its own, we don't know how the fuck that happens."
That's crazy.
So there's that gap of logic, God between the gaps. You know, that conspiracy theory and how when we can't figure something out, it's just God. But just us being here for a cosmic joke. I love that theory because it's like, oh, so the ultimate way to make the joke dumb, or like to make fun of the comedian, basically to make fun of the universe, indomitable human spirit. I'm going to exist to the fullest and not die randomly, or at least try not to. That idea. But the Uncanny Valley is funny.
So explain it in terms for those at home who don't know what that is.
So the Uncanny Valley is the syndrome. Do we have a doll? I need a doll.
We should.
Hold on.
We have a baby girl in the house. There should be a doll.
Give me a doll. Hold on. We'll be right back. I need a doll for this explanation. So, this doll, right? Caleb, post zoom in on my face with this doll. You can clearly tell this doll looks human, but is clearly, how do we put it in artist terms?
Well, I guess that one, wouldn't really, because I saw a graph of like the Uncanny Valley. I don't think that one really counts.
No, it does not.
The Uncanny Valley.
It does not. So with this, you can show this off the side. So with this, it's clearly stylized. It's made to look human, but it's almost in the sense where it's like almost like Pokemon.
It's like a cutesy thing.
It's stylized to make you feel good, or like you emphasize a lot of the human features to make it look cool. It's like with anime.
It's realistic enough that you're like, this is a person, but it's not so realistic that it's like borderline human. Like you know that is a toy.
Yeah, with anime, the idea there with when people are designing anime characters is like you want to make it look the best it can, and with Japan and stuff, and just with animation in general, you emphasize a lot of those features and just make them look good, right? So the idea applies to this doll. So Caleb post, show me Annabelle on my left hand.
Which version of Annabelle?
The movie one, not the doll one. The doll one's
actually, Caleb in post, put a picture of a normal vintage doll.
Yes, thank you. Or Annabelle works too. You see, the problem is with this vintage doll is there's no Barbie effect here. See, with Barbie, I look at her and it's just like, I can tell you're human. My brain, the part of my brain that recognizes human faces, which shows up when you look at cars or a random pattern, clicks with this. But I know it's not human. But with the doll, it looks human.
Like it's slightly human-esque.
But there's no life to it. See, with this, my brain automatically recognizes his face, but it's no real. The doll, where the life, where the breathing.
Like, it looks very real, but there's something slightly not right about what I'm looking at.
I'll put you next to Pikachu. But yeah, that's
no.
Now he's drunk.
All right, you have fun with the Polly Pocket.
Yeah, I thought it was a Barbie.
I think it's a Polly Pocket.
Well, they need some arm articulation. I got nothing on it. But yeah, that's how the theory works. It's like, oh, some things look human, but they're not entirely like, oh, I'm getting creeped out here. But when you look at a doll, it's like, ugh. Like that when you look at a thing like that and you go, oh, that's the uncanny valley effect kicking in. Because it's like, you look
real, but there's something not quite right.
Which brings me into the big idea here. So if you've been a fan of this podcast for a while, I've probably said this once or twice, but ancient humans have specific things lodged in this little noggin of ours for specific reasons. Night owls are good in human biology for looking at the family, during night.
Watching over the camp, make sure that nothing tries attacking while everyone's trying to sleep.
Yeah, and in a weird way to state this, a highly abusive father might have its benefits. There's those mental illnesses in a modern society might suck, but having an overly aggressive father might be a good thing. That was
probably good at some point in history.
Or an overprotective mother. There's these things that have problems now because of our higher cognitive thinking kind of weigh us down. But if you think about it back into the past, it has its benefits. But what's with this one? So this is where the conspiracy theory starts to kick in. Well, we've been on this planet for roughly, I think, in this current form for about 100,000 years. The entire evolutionary point of man's probably been around for, I think, 20 to 5 million, something like that. So that's a long ass time. Yeah. And in those long ass periods of time, there's a little bit of things to overcome, weather, animals, things that might look like us, which, Caleb, can you remind the audience of what other species lived with us on the planet roughly 10,000 years ago?
Well, there was definitely a lot of different species, but one in particular that I think Alex is going with in this theory is the Neanderthals.
Oh, yeah. And there's other ones. There's the dwarves that lived in Indonesia. I think there's other ones in South America. Technically speaking, the ones in Europe and the ones in Africa are also different. There has been many human subspecies. So why is it that we have an inclination in our brain that makes us look at something and go, I'm scared.
I don't like that.
So the idea stems into two things. Either A, it's a defense mechanism against other human subspecies, which may or may not answer why racism is a thing. I have an answer for two of that. The other one stems into, actually this one might stem into it. But the uncanny valley kind of represents that, where it's just like, you look human, but you're not. You're not part of my tribe. Yeah. So that's where that kicks in. If you've ever looked at like a wax like caveman, the effect might kick in just a little bit, where it's just like, oh, you kind of look human, but you ain't human. You're not a modern human with all the, I chew soft foods, and now my jaw is all weird. So it's kind of like that. But the conspiracy theory goes, this is where we get into the fun territory. What if there's just a thing that looks like a doll? So Caleb and Post, not this, but this, but now you make it human sized. So put a mannequin, like a full grown mannequin with Annabelle's face on it without the makeup. Now you're in the dark woods by yourself at 12 o'clock at night, and you see
that in the show.
God, I'm actually, you know what? I'm
actually fucking scared. I'm actually getting scared too. Because in my mind, I'm seeing the pictures I've seen online of like the uncanny valley looking people, and it's like, oh my gosh, if I saw something that looked like that standing in the forest, if I saw that standing outside my window at night, I would probably immediately grab a weapon.
Yeah, I won't lie. I'm kind of scaring myself. It's dark out now. I have to go out to the car. But it's basically that. That's the uncanny valley effect that a lot of people theorize, that the reason why it truly exists is there was probably an apex version of a human species, or Homo sapien species. Well, actually, no, sapien species that looked like us, but was highly predatorial and just vaguely looked different from us enough that our brain recognized, oh, we can develop a pattern for it, because probably the main reason why, maybe one of the main reasons why Homo sapiens ended up living them all was pattern recognition and high sex drive. So that is what ended up happening, and now it's just a byproduct of it. So there possibly was, at the end of the day, a doll / mannequin / sapien species of human that existed that freaked us out so hard that we developed a pattern recognition for it.
And that's the scientific, like, logical explanation for that. Yeah. But I don't know if other people have come up with that, but demons. I Schizo answered demons. Or because I was thinking specifically like Native American culture.
Oh, that would get good.
Like the skinwalkers and like things that can transform into whatever form they want.
Oh, also going further down into that, thank you for reminding me. Across all world religions or spiritualists around the world, there's always a human-esque thing. It's never the giant monster or the dragon that's terrifying. It's like, oh, fire-breathing lizard that could kill me. A human.
It's always a human-esque looking thing.
No. In post, look. Oh, dragon. Yeah, whatever. Human. And you have to darken around me when I do that, because it's just like, it happens every time. Why do you think vampires exist? Why do you think zombies exist? Why do you think werewolves exist? Or in specific with that one, wolf men exist. Werewolf is kind of a weird thing. Don't think of Skyrim. Think of the movie Wolfman. Why do you think any slightly different variations of any of those things exist? Why do you think like Minotaur exists or centaurs? It's like, once you put the human element into a monster, or just strictly just a human element, it makes it terrifying. Like, I've always liked this one back in the day when I was still working at Leprechaun, and I was kind of really big into those 4chan green tech stories. It's like one of the texts like being like human hunting is a thing. Like Homo sapiens will hunt other sapiens. Like the concept of war and like stuff like that is kind of freaky. So like that pattern recognition kind of helps when you're dealing with an opposing tribe or that thing.
Or, because that, I think the thing with like skinwalkers too is it seems like a lot of like throughout cultures throughout the world, there's been like shapeshifters, right?
Always.
So it's like it makes you wonder.
It's actually, you know what? Somebody has to make a Google Doc of that. There are so many shapeshifters among so many. I love the sky. Okay, hold on. Quick tangent. So, Skyfather theory basically comes from the idea that some period in between the major migration of Homo sapiens from Africa, somewhere in Central Asia, so you're basically looking around Turkey, which if you go into Warhammer lore, that's where the Emperor's from. So, fun fact if you want to get conspiratorial with that. Something happened there in that specific area of the world, and then for whatever reason, there is massive crossover between monsters, rain gods, and serpents. Big thing on rain gods and serpents for whatever reason. Jormungandr, Thor, I think Orochimaru, technically not he's still a serpent, but eventually he's slain. I think he's slain by Jiraiya. Jiraiya or Susanoo. But, men who represent water, killing the snake. The idea of a earth mother, a sky father, a sun deity, like there's a lot of crossovers, and one of the ones being is shapeshifters. It's like, I wonder where that comes from. And then if you think about how human stories are made up, it's because of your nearby surroundings. So what the fuck is who's turning into things?
What did they see that made them come up with that?
It might. So Caleb, if you've made a PNG of the monster that I'm talking about, so think about that, right? Mm-hmm. And then put a bear cloak on it, or a jaguar cloak, or some type of animal skin, and now you've made a monster. You now have a human thing that kind of looks like you, that wants you dead, that takes the pelts of apex creatures and wants to kill you.
Yeah. Crazy.
So it's one of those theories where you go, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Now there's probably opposing theories to it. It seems to
all kind of stem back to some sort of early hominid
fear, basically. Yeah. Which you want me to I think I've explained the racism thing once or twice, but I think I can do it again.
Probably
now.
If you want to.
Yeah. So another thing here is so the human mind has its problems. There's clear issues now with us being way cognitively aware about everything thanks to the internet. So it's now kind of leading to this point of like why certain traits and habits have survived for such a long time. Why are people night owls? Why do people do certain actions? Why do people have autism? Why does that? Why do people have peanut allergies, et cetera, et cetera? Most of this can just be explained thanks to the potato. Potato has made peasants live forever, and now we're seeing major problems with it because now we have diseases to deal with because natural selection isn't kind of doing its job anymore. Well, kind of, unless you can do a car crash, but like if it's like, a seeing disease or like a disease with the body, more chances than not you end up living. So the idea here is if there was some type of apex creature or just extremely competitive humans, the idea here is racism only probably formed like way back in the day because it's like they kind of look like us, but they're not us. So over thousands of years of that kind of idea,
and then once those other species were gone, then we were only left with ourselves and our own races, and it just stuck around.
Exactly. And or because, well, since they are vaguely human and hybridization is possible because there is a lot of, I think it's Denisovan. I think I finally remember the East Asian one, and Neanderthal DNA like hang around in our genes and stuff. It's just like some of them got freaky, and then people with that same inclination go, I don't like your dad or your half-breed. So I said that in my head as a Southerner. I did that unconsciously, and that is hilarious. But that idea kind of stems from that. So it's kind of weird. You start looking at like mental illnesses and then like just weird human habitational like patterns, and it's just like, oh, apply them to old history. You go, oh, this is kind of weird. Why do we have this? I love the uncanny valley theory. I love the idea that there is just some apex human, which big brain here, Nephilim, giant human people, just hanging around doing things in the Bible. That's kind of weird. Kind of stem back to a vaguely human looking creature with proportions that just make us kind of creeped out.
Yeah. but also could be a shape-shifting monster.
Which makes it ultimately less scary, which is kind of weird.
I don't know. I feel like that's
like on the surface level. When I think of just like some black like Tyrannosaurus thing in my head. I'm like,
but I mean,
human scary.
But I mean, not like it won't look like a Tyrannosaurus. It will become you.
Yeah. Now, okay. Now you made it scary. See, my mind wasn't doing that.
Your
now
mind
it is.
doing it. That's always where my mind goes. When you say a skinwalker, I think, oh, that's a creature that will just become you.
Yeah. Don't think of the game. I forgot what is it called. Dawn. What?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Don't think of that one. That's wrong. Just think of a dude who just wants to eat you.
Or a deer and then it turns into a normal dude.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then it
freaky.
kills you.
Yeah. And technically how some of those Native American like myths actually are supposed to be taken is that like they have to have the pelt of the creature to transform. So
they skin you and then become you.
Yeah. So that doll representation I was talking about earlier, yeah, no, that's real.
That's real.
That's technically real.
Yeah. So yeah, it really does just all come back to that.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, that's one of my more favorite ones. I brought it up in the video talking about Wonder View from JoJo's where like there'd just be this vaguely old looking man that causes problems. It's kind of weird. Oh, I guess what time is it?
We about a little over an hour.
Stands are real. That's a thing. The CIA did that. I want to make a video on that.
Good.
Yeah, there's meditation fields and there's like weird things the CIA declassified, and so like humans have the ability to manifest basically. So technically speaking, you have a stand. You just have to think it.
Pretty.
It's kind of weird. You have to like if you want something, you just have to keep on thinking, and eventually you'll get it. Kind of weird.
All right, here's the last point that I think we'll get to, and it's kind of a full circle thing.
Yeah,
going off of Uncanny Valley, going back to the start of this season, AI. How that's kind of getting crazier and crazier by the day.
Yeah, it's
the Elon Musk bots,
bro.
Those clankers.
I can't believe that's now officially a slur.
We're actually already racist towards robots.
It's wild.
I think it's because Elon Musk made them.
Yeah.
That we immediately just don't like them.
Yeah, it's so. I don't. That, going back to the Bank of Souls, I don't think Elon Musk has a soul.
There's definitely something not right about that guy.
Yeah, definitely.
I can say that
0% soul.
0 soul.
But no, I guess it is a good way to kind of round it off. The dead internet theory being basically true in the modern age.
Yep.
Even now, even in my YouTube comment sections, I'm getting bots and stuff.
Are you now?
Yeah, it's a thing where they'll just state out a name or something. It's like William John Macklemore Francis or some shit. It's like a four-letter name. I don't know what it is for. I think it's something Mudahar talked about it, but like even I'm seeing it. They're bots, and even then sometimes there's other accounts that look kind of fishy, and it's like you're talking about my subject, but you're
not really saying anything of value.
Yeah, you're just giving words here.
The TikTok bots that I've been seeing in comment sections it's like getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah,
there's this one that I keep seeing, and I think her name's Ashley. It's an Ashley bot. But she like will always say something that like actually does pertain to what, like, as if somebody actually saw the video and commented. But it's like it's like with the Uncanny Valley thing where you read her text and it like if you were just scrolling through and scrolled past that, you wouldn't think twice about it. But when you actually read it and you like think of an actual person saying that, it's like there's something slightly not right about that.
It's weird how that thing's still kicking.
It's like
millions of years later.
That's something a person typically would how a person would phrase that.
Maybe here's just a random thing. Kind of still talking about the AI thing, but what if we ended up discovering like, we found this in like a European cave. There used to be an adult sapien that was like 7 feet tall. And clearly ate humans.
Had like beady eyes.
The skull is significantly different from
elongated skull, beady eyes, tiny nose.
It kind of just looked weird.
Yeah.
Small mouth, but like it had like a row of teeth.
That would be scary.
Yeah, that would be like, what the fuck?
I could see why one would be terrified of that.
Yeah,
it's scary enough to see some animals that look like that.
You know what? Here's a way to kind of freak you out. Going back to the text messages, because like text and voice kind of have like our mirrors of each other.
Yeah.
With the doll, the mannequin, the creature the monster that we have made on this podcast.
Yeah.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
You know what I'm talking about. It's saying hi.
Oh,
I'm getting creeped out right now.
I know what you're talking about.
It just says hi. How are you doing?
Yeah, where it's.
I don't like this. I'm scaring myself.
Wait, are you talking about that like phone call conversation?
The phone call. No, I'm just talking about the monster just speaking back to you.
Yeah, that's.
No, I scared myself.
Scary.
I don't like that.
I thought you were talking about that conversation that guy had. I think it was this guy was getting called by like a telemarketer, and it was like a bot.
Oh, phone mafia?
Yeah, where he got called and it was like having conversation with them, and he's like, I want to talk to a human or something. I
am real.
I am real. And then he's like, you're not human. And it's like, I am a human.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, ugh, I don't like how you said that.
I don't like that.
The TikTok edits of it make it even worse.
Oh, it does. The music definitely works.
When they have the Uncanny Valley filter over it and they're talking like that, it's like, I don't like that.
No.
That tickles something that I don't want tickled.
Yeah, this is a random tangent, but there probably is a phone mafia group that like monitors calls to see what phones are active. So they sell that phone number so people can call you. It's how
that makes sense.
It's how like those Indian phone marketers work. How there's some like bases in the U.S. for that type of stuff. I think it got exposed on YouTube like a while ago. So yeah, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's just straight up.
That's
real.
just what they do.
Yeah,
that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a job.
But in tandem with AI, you can just end up using that. So like, I remember seeing this joke, but then I kind of thought to myself a while back. So there was like. How did it go? It was some fucking meme, but the top text basically said, if Indians didn't have an Indian accent, scamming everybody, the money. So it's like, oh, so what if you just train an AI to do what like Indian like scammers do?
Yeah.
So that's how the phone mafia kind of works.
You know, this isn't a conspiracy theory, but just a thing that happens that I just thought of that's terrifying.
What?
Is how people catfish online.
Oh God, that's the
like,
OG Uncanny Valley on the internet.
When you meet up with this person and it's just like, oh my gosh, who are you? And they're like, I'm Jessica. I'm the one you've been talking to. Dead.
Yeah.
Serial killers.
You know, that'd be the OG one because like if you think about it, why do people kill people? What's the point? Maybe the Uncanny Valley is made for that. Because serial killers have that look to them.
Yeah, they always do. Like, just the soulless look in their eyes.
Oh, God damn it, Colby. Fuck, I was waiting for it. Son of a bitch.
What did he do?
He just stood in frame and I telling you, bro, I said hello, my name Jerry. My brain was on fucking overdrive.
Scared mode.
God damn it, bro. Get out of here. No one like you, Colby.
Every time I peek over, I don't see him.
Oh, fuck. And that's, See, it kicks in. The Uncanny Valley.
Are you sure that's really Colby?
I could have seen a demon.
I didn't see anything.
I scared myself.
But no, yeah, that's scary.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna pull up the picture right now.
What picture?
The Uncanny Valley pictures or the
I haven't seen them. You know, that's a good thing. Show me. Because I know of some of them, but some of them they just the drones. Some of the face of like some like robots, they kind of do the whole like face thing, and it's just like, yeah, you're yapping, but like you don't feel authentic. You're not made of flesh and bone.
I don't like that.
Did these work?
I'm trying to find a good one. I see it's like a trend on TikTok that people do their makeup as Uncanny Valley.
That's a trend?
Yeah, people start doing that.
Who the hell is doing that? Oh, thank you.
You're so funny.
I just think all these buttons do. I need something joyful.
I need something joyful.
What the sigma?
Yeah, like this. Look at that. It's activated.
Out of
I like how it's the same lighting as the room right now too.
fuck. Hold on, let me see.
It's just off. Like I saw her do the makeup too. I just skipped to that part, but it's like, it's shocking how easy you can make yourself look uncanny.
You know what? I also have to give the comment. I'm not trying to be racist here, but Asians can pull it off way better. I don't fucking know. I'm not trying to be racist. I really am not. But the whole genetic thing with their eyes just being like that, and you can slightly tweak them, and it just goes. Ugh.
Oh, I know. I've seen the one that I'm thinking of is it's a white girl who does it, but she's able to do it where it's like, ooh, I don't like what I'm seeing. And you know what?
It's the skin. It's the skin being like a tone where it's like, it's almost like sickly in death. Yeah. It's really weird.
That's how they always do it. They always have it like pale.
Like you know what? I'll be honest. At least with this one in specific, if you just let her eyes be normal, I think it still would kick in. That's the thing. Oh, I don't like that.
Here, I'll find the one that I'm thinking of.
Because
it doesn't look right.
That's the thing about making a horror movie monster. It's just making it slightly human, but ever so tweaked. But even then, it kicked in. I didn't like that. Like, Caleb and Post, like, replay that. You could see it kick in naturally.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Oh, I don't want to. It's creeping me out, dog.
This is the one I was talking about. The phone call. You get to watch it. You get to play it for yourself.
Oh, I don't want to.
Watch it.
I don't want to.
No, I am a real person.
Shut up, bitch.
We have a bad connection. I'm sorry about that.
Will you tell me?
I've seen this audio so many times.
I am a real person.
So,
What if it actually was a real person and she's just done with her day?
I am a real person.
But like, see, okay, I won't lie. The one previous though was scarier because with this one, if you look at it long enough, it's just like your cheeks are too far up. You're not convincing anymore. Like you're still in the valley.
Is it though?
You're still in the valley.
None of them are really that convincing though.
I'm sorry about that.
That's just
That's the whole point of it. Is like it's not supposed to look convincing.
You know, maybe this just might be me and how much I've been around makeup with my family, but it's like the nose is slightly too glossy. So I'm like, I know.
Well, that's not makeup. That's a filter.
Oh, that's a filter?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, person who makes the filter, make the nose less glossy.
Make the nose less glossy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. God, I don't.
It's gross. It's weird. Don't like. It's the eyes, really. That's what it really comes down to. There's always something slightly wrong with the eyes.
It always is. Now banish that accursed demon. I want to go full space. Kill the Xenos. Kill them all.
Kill them.
Kill them all.
Kill it with fire. But yeah, when the muskbots get the skin over them, that's
I
when
haven't
it's gonna
even
get
paid
bad.
attention to those fucking robots.
They just look like the robots from the Mitchells versus the Machines. They're nothing crazy
yet.
Those clankers. The only AI I respect is my Snapchat bot.
I think I called my AI Snapchat bot a No, I can't even remember. That's
funny. Yeah, don't like.
No,
Uncanny Valley.
I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. It's probably to a point where that's probably one of my deeper fears. Where I don't think I'm gonna buy my daughter dolls. I think you like anime.
You like anime.
You
don't have to get the weird dolls. You can just get normal.
Yeah, I'll probably end up getting like something like this.
Polly Pockets.
These are good ones. I think this is probably like a good example of us like a good doll where it's like the face is clearly shown in a way where it's like characterized. That's what I want to say. Where it's like. It looks human, but it's like you're not creepy.
It's cutesy.
Yeah.
It's made to look cartoonish.
No, but I think about it now. Like you show me that stuff, and it's creepy, and I'm scared right now because I scared myself. But it's just like if I were to imagine you, but it's like slightly off, just ever so slightly. That's the creepy part.
Yeah,
it's like if I would have grabbed your skin, turn it down a few notches, and just slightly tweak the eyes and. Ever so slightly, boom.
Like if you heard my voice coming from the door, but then you looked out and it was just an uncanny version of me,
I'm grabbing the Glock.
That would be horrifying. If I saw myself, I would be horrified.
I'd be like, I don't even know if I could ask myself a question.
Because that's not actually you. You
Yeah.
know for certain that is not you.
No.
Especially if
Is that one of those time travel scenarios where it's like, oh, I just came back
I
for
hear
20
from
minutes.
the future. It's like you, but your eyes are like this, and you're like, I've come for you.
I'm like, hell no, you haven't.
It's like, I'm gonna kill you now.
Damn, I didn't know. It's fight or flight, and I'm a flightless bird.
I'm a flightless bird.
Anything, you know what? I'm scared right now. I'm terrified. Just starts playing BFG Division by Doom.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
I
really
was
what it
made
comes
in
down
God's
to.
image.
I was made in God's image.
You were made by a piece of toilet paper.
You were made by nothing. Yeah.
Dies, you know.
Would you know if it was not me? Would you be able to suss out? Because I don't know if I'd be able to suss out.
Me?
I
Or yourself?
you.
Me?
Yeah, if there's an uncanny version of you
If I don't
just
go
speaking to me and I couldn't see it, like
right
it
now,
would be very hard.
I could tell you right now how you could tell. Because I think I have a very
You wouldn't say
distinctive.
something stupid. It would have to be saying something stupid for me to know that.
If I don't, there's certain quirks like if that you can't copy. Like I think me going, I do this often. I kind of get this from my mom. I do a baby voice when I want to be funny. I go, yeah, or like yippee, or like yeah. I do that for like comic jokes, or I overly cuss. If it's I know we've been in Discords and I don't do that, but there's a tone. There's a certain way you carry yourself. And so if it were to be with you, there would be you're big with, I think your body language is much more pronounced than mine. So that would be the first automatic.
And if I'm not moving,
Yeah,
I'm
you
stiff.
like to move.
I am very fidgety.
Yeah, I'm
That is
fidgety
one
too.
thing.
I'll instead of like, well, no, I'll pace around the room. But if I have to be still in front of somebody, I'll start like my arms will move. Maybe my legs might sway a little bit, but it's with my hands. I like to fit. Like even during this entire podcast, watch me go back to the beginning or just like scrub through. You'll see me like and do things. If I don't do that, or I don't be silly, or I don't overly cuss.
I think that's what it comes down to. Because even during this episode, when you're visibly scared, the first thing you do is start like laughing.
Yeah. There's things about me that you can clearly tell. Like, if you're like in...
Just think how hard that would be, though, in the moment.
Yeah.
If, like, you heard just knocking on your door and somebody frantic that looks and sounds like a person that you know trying to get in, saying that there's danger outside. Like, in that moment, would you be able to suss out?
It's weird because you're saying it right now, and it's so fucking creepy. I think I'm scaring myself. My body's reacting to it. I have an I like to think a lot in my brain. I can visualize a lot of things. And so I'm imagining all these scenarios. I imagined all of it. And even then, my brain does the thing where it imagines something and it's telling you. It's like, remember when I made up the mannequin guy? I've imagined him in the room with me.
He's now here.
Yeah, I've done that. So like when you're saying all this, I can see it, but in my mind, I know that like there's a certain way people scream for help. It's not ever in the same tone. There's body language with it. Because if you just say help, but you're just help. Yeah, it's just
Like,
where's the panic? Where's the
wait a
fear?
minute.
This is a
all right,
bad call.
Here's one that I think might really scare you. So it's like the middle of the night and you get a
Yeah,
knock.
I'm just gonna kill you.
You get a knock on your window.
It's shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
And it's your mom outside.
Stop.
And she's like, Alex, I got locked out of the house. Can you let me in?
No.
No, Mom, you're staying
You're
outside.
fucked. Okay, you know how I can already tell you why this is wrong? My mom would never leave the house.
She wouldn't leave.
She never would leave the house. First thing she would do, she would call me.
But what if the thing says, I went outside to take out the trash and I forgot my phone in the door?
I already know. So this is behavioral patterns. I know for a goddamn fact that woman would not leave without her phone or outside in the middle of the night. If anything, she'd walk into my room and be like, hey,
You're like, you do it.
wake the fuck up. You go do it.
She'd tell you to do it.
She'd be like this. She'd have her eyes slightly closed and she'd be like this with her just her
Try to make
panties on.
yourself look all small so you feel bad, so you do it for her.
Yes, that's what she does. But like in that type of no, I'm scrapping, bro.
You're like, you're not my mom.
I know how my mother acts. That's all my family acts in a very specific way. And in one of those moments, I think it'd be better if it would be you, because none of my family would be out there in the middle of the night. Plus, everybody can get back inside the house pretty easily. The door can be a bit funny.
And I get, you know what? It would make more sense if it was me, because I have knocked on your window before.
Oh, fuck, you and Peter scared the fuck out of me doing that shit, bro. But then even then, how you guys act, it's like, even when you jokingly do it, like if you try to pretend to be like, oh, I'm evil, it's like, it's not, there's this level of like almost voice, you know how gamers will be 10 out of 10 voice actors, right? It's one of those moments where it's like, you're not at that level where it's like super convincing, where it's like, no, please don't shoot me. That of that notorious clip. It's like, you can't do that. But in a scenario where there is a fiend and like that sixth sense starts kicking in, and I'm feeling it, my arms are doing the thing, the goosebumps is kicking in. It's like when that happens, you know. It's just that you kick in, you go, I don't like you. And I don't know why I don't like you, but I'm not gonna not distrust this sense.
Because even if I were as me to go and knock on your window in the middle of the night and be like, Alex, I need to talk to you, like there would be some sort of tone in my voice that would tell you what kind of situation
you
I would be
text me
in.
before that,
and I would probably text. I would get a hold of you prior to that point.
If anything, it would be. So this is where it gets funny. This is where the scarier thing comes in. It's you call, but you call in a way where it's like, you good?
It's like,
but you can't tell because there's no body language.
Alex, I need to talk to you.
I swear to God, if you fucking do that to me, motherfucker, I'm hanging up. You're fucked. You're fucked.
And you know, that's the biggest thing that you'll know.
Yeah.
Is I will always text first because I hate phone calls.
Yes.
I will
know that.
always text first. And then if you need confirmation on my text,
then
you call, and I have my tone of voice that I use when I talk on the phone that is very unserious, that I don't like talking.
And you can't replicate that because it's like almost on an individual
You can't replicate my my distaste of talking on the phone. You actually cannot.
Yeah. So it'd be one of those moments where it's not one of those really confusing ones where it's like they're an exact copy of you. It's like you know.
There will always be slight signs, but that's where it comes in, is in the moment. Would you be able to suss it out? Like in a split second, if it was like a split decision, it was like I ran up to your window, knocking, pounding, and like, Alex, I need you to let me in quick. There's something out here. Would you know in that moment, you're not real? Or would you be like, okay.
So it's like super panicked in the moment?
In the moment, just, Alex, I need you to let me in. Quick, there's something out here. It's been chasing me. I need you to let me in.
Or the noise. To be fair, you saying it's different. I think I'd have to be in the moment. So just right now, no. But if I saw you, and there was just something off about your face, I would. I think personally, I would be able to suss it out. Because if it's like, help, but your face is like, help, like that. Caleb wouldn't do that. He'd be like, you have panic. That's what you would do. But like if there's almost it's the stillness. Because once the stillness kicks in, it's like fear.
All right, and here's the realest thing for Alex, just to give him some sort of comfort. I wouldn't knock on your window and be saying, Alex, help let me in if there's something chasing me. I would literally just burst through his window.
I was like, why'd you do that? My books.
There's something chasing me.
Now you've let it in with us both.
At least
I didn't think that far ahead.
At least I have a backup.
I got a 16.
Literally that, like, because I was already thinking too, like with people in the house, like if Colby was outside and there was something and he needed to be let in the house, he wouldn't be like, "Oh my gosh, let me in." He would just he'd find a way to just let himself in at that point.
Yeah. And it would also be kind of weird for you to come to me when there's everybody in your house. So it'd be like, you good? Because there'd be obvious signs of it too. Because like, I've heard of those like creepy stories of like people outside your house and they look fucking sketch as fuck. So it's just weird. There's signs to it. You'll think about it even in the moment. If you can't come up with an answer, I can guarantee you your instincts will just kick in, because they're kicking in right now with me. I scared myself into it. It happens every single time. I'm watching 4chan stories and I'm editing and I just go.
I think ultimately, with this made up scenario and just like with people in general, because that's probably the most likely thing that could happen to a person, is you see a random person outside that start like, I always see online that there's like videos of like women knocking on your door in the middle of the night frantically, like trying to get let in. I love crackheads, bro. They're just weird. I think ultimately it really does come down to like the look in their eyes. Yeah. Like you'll know if they actually need help or not, because you can tell like there's something very hard to fake about eyes for whatever reason. That's probably why the Uncanny Valley works, is because
I thought of the lady again,
because with most of those it's always something with the eyes lacks like
a soul.
So like, and like when it comes to like somebody knocking on your door in the middle of the night frantically needing something, you could most likely tell by like the way like their pupils dilate and like just like their overall expression, that you know whether or not they're actually in danger or not. Yeah. Which is... This
episode has reminded me I need to buy a gun. I need to pack some chrome, dog. I'm lacking.
I need a...
Or at least, I'm lacking. My house is filled with guns, but like, I don't gun on the... well, I got knives.
You got knives.
You walk into my house, it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so Alex would be pretty good.
Yeah, I'd be fine. I'd be able to tell. It kicks in really hard with me, and I don't know. I think on some occasions it has saved me. Not like I've ever been like in a scenario where there's like been a weird person, like a really really sketch one, but it's like, that building looked weird. This road looks weird. I'm gonna take the extra 10-minute one.
What if it was Nat?
Oh, what if it looked? Oh, okay. See, you gave me hardcore to easy.
To easy.
I can tell you with no doubt in my mind, I'd be able to pick it out. I would, because Nat, the way Nat acts is so fucking goofy that if it wasn't goofy, it'd be like, you're not my girlfriend, fight me.
Oh, well, I guess there you go. Any doppelgangers out there who are looking to somehow kill Alex,
you wouldn't be able to
and need somebody to impersonate. I literally
do not do my girlfriend.
I literally gave you the guide on how to impersonate me.
Nat would never.
That we literally just said I would be the hardest person to suss out, and then gave an exact guide on how to make it even harder.
Yeah. So it's just like my girlfriend wouldn't be able to do it because there's so many like character traits that she has into introducing herself that it wouldn't make sense. Because like if it was really late at night, without a shadow of a doubt, she would text me.
Her presence being there already makes no sense. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it would. She would have to text me first. Her showing up randomly is weird. Now the only reason why I think she would show up randomly if she was crying, but if she's acting totally normal. And I know how Nat looks. I have so many pictures of her. I have like over 1,000 pictures of her on my phone. I know how her face looks like. So I personally feel like if I were to see some doppelganger of her or like some Uncanny Valley version of her, my mind would immediately go,
Okay, here's the last situation.
I'd be fucking.
Here's the last situation. Would you be able to suss out through text if it wasn't that person?
I'm fucked. Well, no.
Because in this case, if it was Nat, she wouldn't, logically, if she was in danger, she would stick to her spot and hide.
You want to know how I know without a shadow of a doubt I'd be able to pick it out?
How would you know?
My aunt texted on my mom's phone. She used an emoji.
You're like...
my mom doesn't use emoji. And I remember when I texted her, she had said something and I said, you're not my mom.
You're not my mom.
Immediately. And Nat texts in a certain way. You text in a certain way. Now, I'd end up arguing this. The way you text would be infinitely harder to suss out than my girlfriend's. Because you text like me. Yeah. That's wild. Right.
Yeah, there's a demon here.
There's like it's like 3 letters.
Three
if
words.
you overly started texting out of nowhere, like it's like you kind of do a build up where you'll text small and then you'll
I'll
bigger.
give you the context.
But if it's like off the start, I'll go, you good?
Yeah, like,
And
wait a
then
minute.
that's where the sussing out
that's
starts out.
already a red flag.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that makes sense. Because I would be like, Alex, I need to tell you something.
The use of
And then proceed
emojis,
to tell you.
and even if you did use emojis, it's specific emojis for specific conditions. Even when I remember you used to,
I do
like
use the same emojis all the time.
Yeah, if it's like the rock emoji, even though it's like a really weird one, you know when you use it, it's in a comedic style or it's for something else. But if you said, "Come outside," rock emoji, huh?
What
The fuck does that mean? Like the Easter Island face or emoji. Be like, why that's what? Huh?
That doesn't apply.
I'm not gonna get up immediately to open the door. I'm gonna text you more, be like, you good? So I think texting is difficult, but you have to know the person. If it's like a new person you've never met, that's infinitely harder than sussing you out.
That's basically impossible at that point. You wouldn't be able to know.
Yeah, but if it's like your wife or your kid or somebody, you've texted them for so long, you know how to. Like Nat was having a whole conversation with me earlier. She was texting me while I was looking up stuff here on the pod, and it's just like you text in a certain way after certain events, and it's like if you don't, it's just like it's
like,
weird.
That's not right.
Yeah, it's like that's. I still remember that moment when my Thea Becky was just like texting stuff, and she used the vomit emoji, and I'm like, my mom doesn't do that. My mom doesn't put an emoji right here. This is how I can tell. My mom doesn't put an emoji in a text. It's the text, then the emoji. Or it's like a text, explanation, then the emoji. I got small text emoji. Who are you?
And see, I think,
and then my dad calls me slurs if he's being overly
your dad
nice.
Calls you slurs.
Yeah, then I know it's not him. or my dad likes to do so many texts independently. Periods everywhere. In between the cow, the period, something. Just it looks. It's at. Hold on. Can I look at my dad's text real quick? He
just sporadic.
Yeah, he looks. My dad texts in such a fucking archaic way. He's even texting me right now. Hold on. Like,
no, you know.
Look how he texted any of that.
You missed. Food is bomb. Alex, I want s'mores tonight.
You make credit card
You
payment?
make credit card. What's funny is my dad also texts in a very similar manner.
Like, look at.
I'll pull up some.
You want to know how bad it is? You want Chinese ? 3 exclamation points. Now, how grammar is supposed to be used is those citation marks, those like question mark and period and stuff. Make it to where you can pause and or continue. My dad puts a thing. What's the mark? The little I don't know what it's called. Not the quotation mark. It's the other one. It's the where you go word slash. It's a slash. My dad slashes and then continues a sentence when it wasn't needed. He does it everywhere. Like he says this one. Anything you forget, text us. What's it called? Comma. Thank you. Comma to bring space comma. Space jackets, space comma, space shirts, question mark, period, question mark, comma, etc, space, dot. Yet again, address, comma, space, any issues, Nat, call mom, or text. I think this is during our trip and stuff. But that's how my dad texts. I'd be honest, I don't think he'd be able to write an essay. That's how my dad texts.
That just made me think, though, that the one way to get around the if somebody was impersonating through text is if you can't hear that person's voice saying that with like the inflections given by.
You know, you say that now, and now I'm
Grammatical
realizing
errors.
every time my dad like stops short of a sentence, it's literally mimicking how he texts. Yeah, what the? Man, I don't like that. Like you can hear the space and the comma every time now that you say that.
Because like when I text somebody, I text them like how I'd say it.
Yeah.
Like I'm very
I'm bad at that
straightforward
because
to
I'm
the point.
dyslexic.
And I try not to shorten any words. I don't use any sort of like LOL or anything. I hardly try to use that. I'll either say haha when laughing or like emojis, or I will specifically say exactly what words I'm supposed to say.
Oh yeah, it's so weird, bro. Like texting is like you kind of know.
But that's when it gets scary. Like when you message somebody over the internet that you don't know, it's like, are you real? Like that time, like I was saying with
The demon's in the corner of the room again.
with
I imagined it. Colby's
my
up there.
friend or our friend. Maybe I didn't mention this on the Dead Internet Theory episode that our friend David, his Instagram account got hacked one time.
Oh no, you told us this.
Okay, yeah, and he was texting, and I was like, he doesn't typically talk like this. This isn't the kind of way he speaks to me.
Yeah, it's like the Discord hack accounts.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, man, they did it. Other than the information that you just provided me not making any fucking sense, you're not even talking correctly. So
It's not how you speak.
yeah, I'm getting hungry right now. I want a sandwich.
Snack time. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I have to perfectly end off the month of us actually just scaring ourselves.
It might have actually been a little scary. If you're listening to this episode at night, you might be a little scared.
Yeah, don't. I think I heard a knock on your window.
Dum, dum, dum. Caleb and Poe, start playing shifting and knocking noises.
I shocked that noise went off, and I went.
You were actually scared. You were actually scared for a second.
And also, it's not. I do not flight. I have made almost several fist-to-face contacts with some of my coworkers. So they know.
I was almost one of them.
Yeah, he was like, "Hi."
No, I actually jumped out and scared you one time.
mother!
You were ready to fight.
I was like, "Son of a bitch." Lisa did it to me once. I went, "Oh my god, I almost killed you." I was like this close to her. I was like, "Oh my god, Lisa, don't do that again." It's bad.
I'm not in danger. I am the danger.
I am the danger, Skylar.
Oh man, but yeah, good episode.
Good episode.
End of spooky month. Sad to see.
Yeah.
But
Time for November. Time for election.
time for eat time. Time for election. I was gonna say eat time, but then yeah, it is election season.
Yeah. I think this is our first election year for the podcast. Is it?
Oh wait, no. Yeah, for the podcast, this would be our first major one.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy. Who's gonna win?
We'll
Trump
find
was
out.
working at McDonald's. He was really
Trump
good at
was
7.15.
working at McDonald's.
$17.50 for an hour. You think they paid for him his work?
No, because they shut down the whole restaurant.
Did they actually?
Yeah,
Lord,
they shut down the restaurant and basically paid actors to go through the drive-through.
Wow. That's fucking stupid.
It was all a photo op. That's all it was.
Chingo. Well, with that being said,
Tune in next week. We'll have something else, but it won't be spooky, probably. Unless
Maybe.
we become uncanny. Ooh, what's
we still have to
behind
do
you?
that D&D episode, I think.
Yeah.
We should do that.
We got to get some homies on that.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Anyway, that's for the future. For the now, like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast, and
I have
do
to walk to
something.
my car after this. I'm terrified. You live in the most unlit area too. Why did I show up and talk about this with you?
There's no light outside. I'm seeing right now through
is
the curtains.
pitch black.
There's no light.
I am cooked. I thank God my brother has a knife on his keychain. I had to borrow his truck or his
Real.
car. So deuces.
Well, let's see if Alex survives. Peace out.